Okay, the next part we're going to do is to attach the shoe to the sole. And this is a little bit fiddly, so take your time. First thing we're going to do is sew up the back seam, the ankle seam here. So this is just a 1/4 inch seam right up to this seam that you sewed earlier. Just like that. And you're going to want to go ahead also, I also like to clip this to 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, just to make it lie a little bit smoother on the doll's foot. And you can see that kind of caused this to curl up, and that's fine. What we're going to do next is this is where the Velcro attachment for the back of the shoe is. So we're going to fold this over about 1/4 of an inch, and we're going to sew that down. This is going to make a nice smooth, I'll show you how that's going to look. So this is this is the back of the shoe. So when you put the doll's legs in and you attach it, we're going to have Velcro will attach back here. So we want that to be nice and smooth. So we're just going to take that, turn it about 1/4 of an inch in, and sew that down. You can use pins if you need to. I've done this enough that I can just hold it with my finger. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Just turn that back. So you can see now on the back of your boot here, you'll have a nice way to put the Velcro and close that up. Now again, using black thread so it shows, you'll probably want to use a thread that matches your fabric better. Okay. Also, I talked to you earlier about the raw edge. I am leaving with this shoe and this fabric, this top edge raw because it won't fray. If you're using something that frays, or if you just want to, you could turn this down and sew along the top and close that up. I'm not going to, but you could if you wanted to. Alright, last step is to put the sole on the boot. Again, this is a little bit fiddly. Take your time. I'm going to clip some of the thread just so it's out of the way. So what you want to do here, your boot's inside out. The right side of your sole is also on the inside because we're going to flip this when it's done. So right side's together, bad side's out. And what you want to do, I usually start at the back. I can kind of see where the middle of the heel is there. And I line that up with this back seam. And pin that in place. Then I turn it, find the front of the boot. Kind of pin that into place as well. And then what you kind of do is you just work the fabric around the edge and pin as you go. You'll probably want to use quite a few pins for this. I'm pretty confident, having sewn little things like this, that I probably won't use too many pins, but you might need more. You can also hand sew this if this makes you nervous to sew in this little itty bitty space. You can hand sew it or baste it and then sew it on the machine, baste it by hand and then sew it on the machine. So can you see that? So kind of matched it along here. Now what I usually do is I usually sew one side at a time. So I'll start here, sew around to the front, take it out, flip it, sew around to the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I use my fingers to just kind of make sure that I'm catching both sides of the fabric as I go. I've got a pin that's in the way there. Again, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Or so. This is probably, I'm actually probably sewing a little less than 1/4 just to start. I'm just going to go ahead and sew all the way around since it's going pretty well. Again, kind of moving the top of the shoe out of the way as I go. Okay, see that? You want to check and make sure that you caught all the sides. You can see here I kind of went off a little, so I'm going to reinforce that. Then what you want to do is go ahead and flip it right side out and try it on your doll and make sure the sizing looks good. So we're going to get Avery here, who's an American Girl doll, as I mentioned. I'm going to try this on her foot. And I think that looks pretty good. See that? It's working out. Make sure that the back's going to fit over her calf. And the sole fits nicely. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn it back inside out again. And I normally, if I wasn't doing this on video, what I would do is go over the seam one more time just to reinforce it. I'm not going to do that for the sake of time, but you probably want to do that. And then I'm going to clip this again to about 1/8. 1" seam allowance just to make it turn a little bit better, a little less bulky on the inside there. And then you can also do that trick I showed you earlier with clipping your curves at the toes. That will make it turn a little nicer. Being real careful not to cut into your seam, of course. I'm not going to do a super good job on that, but I think you get the idea. And then when you turn it, you can see that makes a nice smooth toe there. Okay, last thing we need to do is sew on the elastic, and I think for the sake of time I'm just going to, or excuse me, the Velcro, describe that. I think you can probably figure it out. What I normally do is put a little bit of the hook side on one and the loop side on the other. Just sew it on. I usually put it on the doll. Put the shoe on the doll just to accurately mark where I'm going to put my Velcro, so you can see that. Go ahead and sew it on there, and that will be that. I think it's pretty cute. Hope that tutorial helps. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, the pattern is available for free on ManySmallFriends.com. I will put a link in the notes to the pattern, and happy sewing!